Hello folks, welcome to my channel Java Demystified by SSR. Here comes the question number 10. Explain constructors in Java briefly. So let's demystify constructors in Java now. So let me open my particular slide related to constructors. Let's understand some theoretical concept and then actually go back to programming. So what is a constructor? So we have discussed this constructor in our previous discussions too. The purpose of a constructor actually is to initialize the state of an object. A constructor is used to initialize the state of an object. What is the state of an object? The state of an object is comprised of the instance members of that particular class. You know, in a class we have instance members and static members, and constructor is used to construct only the instance members of that particular class to an object. And this constructor is used or invoked at the time of object creation. So whenever you create object, so we just have discussed actually the new operator is used, and for example my class is A, so we are going to write like this. So whenever we create an object, this constructor is invoked implicitly. So we are saying a new A. So A is actually the constructor, which is the default constructor because it is not taking any arguments. Okay, a constructor need not to be called explicitly. It is invoked implicitly. Okay, when actually it is invoked whenever object creation is taking place. Okay, so this is what actually happens for the constructor. Okay, and what it do is how it helps is it construct values or nothing but the data for that particular object. Okay, so this is about the constructor. And what are its features? A constructor is just like a method, and it is considered to be a special method. Why we consider this as a special method? Because it has same name as the name of its class. A constructor name must be same as its class name. Okay, and a constructor is written without any return type. A constructor has visibilities, a constructor has some modifiers applicable, but a constructor has no return type. So any method we write in any of the programming languages like C, C++, and Java, every method must and should have its return type. So for example, if you consider the main method in Java, we say void main. Void is the return type, right? So void display or int prime, something like that. Any method we write will have a return type. But here a constructor is written without any return type. Okay, so constructor name is same as the class name, and just you have to write the name of the class with parenthesis. That's it. And you can specify visibility specifiers for that. So you can actually give public, private, protected, and unspecified, etc. But there is no return type. But the interesting thing is, even though the constructor will not have any return type, the default return type is the class type. We understood actually when the object is constructed, the constructor returns the reference of type that particular class. So even though there is no return type for the constructor, it returns the class type. Okay, so these are the details of the constructor. And one rule actually is when the class has no constructor written, in a class you don't have the constructor, the default constructor is automatically supplied by the compiler. So which we have seen in many of programs actually. A programmer is not writing a constructor, a default constructor is supplied by the compiler. Okay, so that's why you verify that with JavaP, where JavaP is a tool to print the bytecodes. Okay, yeah, and there are two types of constructors: a default constructor which has no parameters, and a parameterized constructor, whereas the constructor will take some parameters, some n number of parameters. Okay, and constructor overloading is also possible. We will discuss that constructor overloading as well. Okay, so this is the theory about this constructor, and let me go actually to the program and explain you the details. Yeah, so here I have a class, I have a sample class over here. Yeah, so public class sample, so it is saved as sample.java, and whenever your class name is whenever you have a public class and this class is going to be your main class, that is executable class, then the source file name must be same as your class name. So here class sample, which is public class and which is containing main method, then the source file name must be sample.java. There is no other alternative. You have alternative for naming your source file when it is not public, but when it is public and it contains main, then there is no way to escape this. Okay, so you must have to save this as sample.java. Okay, so now I have a class sample. Of course I have no data, and I can actually create an object for this. So sample s equals to new sample, sample s equals to new sample. Okay, so what is this sample followed by parenthesis? This is the constructor. Okay, and this is the default constructor. Why it is default constructor? Because it has no parameters. It has no parameters. That's why we say is a default constructor. And this program is a valid program actually. See, public class simple, publish static void main string array aux sample is equal to new sample. And let me actually, because I want to show you some output, so let me print this reference itself, system dot out dot println, and I'm just printing this particular reference. Okay, so let me save this, and you understand now, because I have not written this particular sample constructor, and my compiler is going to supply me the default constructor. Let me show you that actually. So let me go to my terminal. So here is my terminal. Let me clear the things here. Java C. Uh, so class name is actually, my source file name is sample.java. Java C sample.java. So compiled successfully. There is nothing wrong in this. It's a simple thing actually, right? So then say Java sample, and what will be the outcome you are expecting? So you are creating an object of sample. Of course that sample has no data. This object has no data because there are no instance members. The constructor just constructs with no data and returns the reference, and the reference is yes actually, and I would like to print this reference variable. So now some reference variable will get printed, so the output will be sample at rate some numeric value. Let's see here, sample at the rate 14AE5A5. That means this 14, yeah, let me tell you actually something important here. Yeah, what I would like to tell you is, see, let me go to this particular terminal. And here, this particular sample is the class name, right? Sample is the class name, and this one at the rate actually 14AE5A5 is actually the hash code. Okay, so this is the hash code. Okay, so I told you what is hash code. Once the constructor construct the object, it returns its address back actually. Okay, so that address is nothing but a transformed address. That is not direct address, that's not the pointer. Okay, so which can be manipulated like in C and C++. So this is a transformed address. It is not manipulative. You cannot manipulate on that actually. So unmanipulative value. Okay, so pointers are manipulated, but hash codes are not manipulated. But whatever you see here actually, the hash code, this hash code actually, what has happened is it was converted to string. So the string represented hash code actually uh, is what we are actually seeing here. So this on 4AE5A5 is a string represented hash code. Okay, so Yeah, so now here my point actually is not this. Let me clear all these things. Yeah, some output actually we have got, right? But let me check with the bytecodes. Java P, yeah, Java P, then say sample. What is actually happening? So now you will see compiled from sample.java, public class sample, and this is what actually, this is important actually. So public sample. So this is the constructor. See, this is the constructor. The default visibility specifier or the modifier is public for sample, and it has no arguments, the default constructor, right? And sample is same as the class name. And does sample constructor has any return type? No. So you don't find any void, int, double, etc., right? Just public sample. A constructor is written without return type, but it can have some modifiers applicable. All visibility modifiers can be applicable, and some other modifiers also applicable. So this is by default. This is actually supplied by the compiler. Okay, so this is what you need to understand actually. So this is supplied by compiler. So and compiler always applies the default constructor. It always applies the default constructor. So for example, my class is A, it will supply something like this, A, and there is no codes also. There are no codes also. That means there is no business logic. It supplies just like for a class A, it supplies constructor A and public constructor A, public A actually. So the constructor will be public, and it has no body actually, empty implementation. Now this is how it supplies. Okay, that is the point. Okay, so let me clear all these drawings, and yeah, if at all you want to see the bytecodes in detailed way, you know how to see, right? Hyphen c sample, when you say actually, so these are the bytecodes, public class sample. And here if you can see the default constructor bytecodes, this is something like this: code a load 0, invoke special, this is a special method actually, and return. So even though this sample is a constructor which has no return type, but returns something, just like a method, it returns something even though it has no return type. That is important actually, and one of the important question. Constructor is written without return type, but but it returns what it returns. It returns the class type. Constructor is sample, and it returns a reference of type sample. Okay, so then these are the bytecodes of the main method. Okay, so that's how the bytecodes can be seen, and that's how we can understand the default constructor. Okay, so let me actually tell you a few more things here as part of this constructor. Yeah, so now this point actually, whenever I am saying yes, so we are actually getting what? A hash code value. Okay, we are getting the hash code value, and this hash code value actually is a string represented hash code value. But if at all you want to see the hash code directly, what we can do actually is system.out.println, system.out.println, we can actually say yes dot hash code. So there is an hash code method, and of course here hash code string represented means here actually there is a method that will be applied on yes. Actually this is nothing but yes, sorry, this is nothing but s dot toString. Here it is s dot toString and string represented hash code, and if at all you want to print directly the hash code, you have to say s dot hash code. So let me save this quickly, and then let me show you the outcome as well. So java c sample.java, and then java sample. Now you can see sample, this is string represented hash code, and this is the original hash code. This is actually the transformed address value, a symbolic address, not a direct address but symbolic address. Okay, so that's what actually happens when you actually print a reference. Okay, so these things actually just I told you for information, because somehow sometime I have to cover this, and I have covered. But the point here is about constructors. Okay, so default constructor. So now the compiler has applied the constructor, right? How it's applied? Public sample, and here it supplies just an empty implementation. Okay, so this is same as the earlier program actually. Earlier I have not written, but now I am writing actually. Okay, so earlier I have written, now I am not writing. Both are same, and this both are actually same. Okay, so now what actually happens? Your program will get run. There is no problem. So let me compile and show you. So Java says sample.java, and there is no problem, right? Compiled successfully, and even if I run, there is no outcome that to show. So both are same, but what is the difference is, since you have written a constructor, since you have written a constructor, here compiler compiler will not supply a default constructor. Because we have written a constructor, compiler will not supply the default constructor. That is the only difference actually. So here, if at all you want to write any business logic, you can actually write the business logic. So what business logic you want to write? So system dot out dot println. So here what I'm doing is, whenever my constructor is called, I just want to print one line actually. So that line, what I'm doing is, okay, so I'm saying constructor invoked. Okay, so because whenever you say new sample, this sample constructor is going to get executed. Okay, and because I'm actually writing some statement to get printed actually. So now this time you will have some output actually. So sample is equal to new sample. When object is getting created, your constructor has a business logic to do. It is actually printing something. So cons is invoked. So that is the outcome that you are going to see, right? So let me clear this and then compile java c sample.java, compiled successfully. Then when I say java sample, now what happens? When the constructor is invoked, there is nothing to construct for the object. That means there is no data to construct the object, but object will get constructed and reference will be returned back, but object has nothing, right? But when the constructor is getting executed, it has a statement to print actually, that is going to get printed. See, constructor is invoked. Okay, so now, yeah, so this is what the thing actually. So if you are not writing any constructor, compiler will supply. If you write the constructor, the compiler is not going to supply. So this is about the default constructor. And let's now understand something called a parameterized constructor. Okay, so in order to do that, let me actually go to the other program which was written already, our favorite person.java. Okay, so here the class person, so this person also can be now made public, there is no problem. Yeah, this also can be made public. Otherwise we can leave it. When we leave like this, it's unspecified. Okay, so that's up to you whether to make it public or not. So this person has a name, person has some age, and person has a planet actually. That means this is a static value, so we have to make actually what is the planet a person lives on. So it's Earth. Okay, so that's what we are actually writing since beginning. So one static value and two instance values. The constructor actually constructs what? Instance values only, right? But here I have a method which is a setter method actually. This is a getter method. So usually any class will have setter methods and getter methods. Simple. What is setter and what is getter is, a setter method will set the values of the class, and the getter method displays the values of that particular class. That's it. Okay, so now if you write a constructor, what we can do is we can actually avoid a setter method. By writing a constructor, we can avoid setter method. So now how I am avoiding actually? So let me write, so public, and what is my constructor? Person, public person. So earlier I have set person method, now I am making constructor. So public is also optional. If you want to leave it, you can actually leave it, there is no issue. And this person and followed by parenthesis and here, so this means this is a constructor, right? The person with the parenthesis and your class name is person, then this must be a constructor, right? So now this is a parameterized constructor, a parameterized constructor, right? So it is taking two parameters, two local variables. It's just like a method and constructing this n and a value to this name and age of this particular person. So whenever this constructor is called, what happens? This constructor construct the person object with their default values, initially name equal to null, age equal to 0. Later, during the bytecode execution of this particular constructor, this n, the local variable, whatever passed will be assigned to name, and age, whatever passed will be assigned to age. So in fact here the name is XYZ, age is 30. These are going to get assigned. Once the object is constructed, this constructor will return the reference back. So of course that return that we are actually catching with the P, which is of type person, right? So this is a parameterized constructor for me, and there is a getter method. This getter method actually display all the person information, so name, age, as well as this static member, that is planet. Okay, so now here you have to see, you have to understand actually this is important as part of constructors. Now if you see here, what I'm doing, I'm actually creating object. So person P equal to new person, person P equal to new person. Okay, so do we have this person constructor? So person default constructor, right? So do we have this default constructor written in our program? No. Okay, does compiler supply? This is important. Does compiler supply? Yes or no? No. No, because we have already written a constructor. Whenever a constructor is written, compiler no longer supplies you default constructor. So now if you say person P equal to new person, you are going to get a compile time error. You are going to get a compile time error because this person default constructor doesn't match with this parameterized constructor. Let me test and show you, because this is important to understand. So let me compile javac sample.java. Sorry, not sample, right? We have come to person. So javac person.java. Yeah, now there are so many errors actually. See, constructor person in class person can be applied to given types. So person cannot be applied to given types. Person P equal to new person. Yeah, so you can actually see cannot be applied to given types. Person P equal to new person, compile time error. What is the problem? Required actually string and integer. That means a constructor is required with a string and integer, but supplied with no arguments. So default constructor is found actually. So actual and formal argument list differ in length. Okay, actual and formal arguments. What are actual arguments? Actual arguments when you are actually passing here, you are passing nothing. What are formal arguments? Your string n and int a. So differ in length. So there are 2 and here is 0. Okay, where is the problem? Of course, there is one more error actually. So set person was there. Of course, set person method was not there for me. So I have to remove this actually. So this is not related to the constructor actually. Okay, so this is what actually going to happen in the scenario. Okay, so here there is one more error actually. This set person is not required now. Now this person is not required. I don't have a method. Okay, and this default constructor you cannot write. So what actually has to be done? Your constructor should match with the constructor that you are writing, because compiler will no longer supply you the constructor because you are writing a constructor here. So now person P equal to new person, and you must have to pass a string. Let's say you are passing some name, that is XYZ, and some age 30, which is an integer. So now this person constructor matches with the constructor that you have written. So now you will not be getting any error actually. Okay, once the object is constructed with XYZ and 30, then you can actually ask get person, and get person will give you name, age, and planet. Name and age from the object which is constructed, and planet actually from the class area, because the planet is static. Okay, so now actually what happens? So let me explain. Let me explain what actually happens. Okay, so the class will get loaded. So let me actually draw these diagrams actually. So this is my class area. So when the class get loaded, what happens? All the class information, bytecodes of this constructor, bytecodes of this get person, bytecodes of the main method, and also this static planet. This is important. That's why I'm writing here. Yeah, so here you have now planet. Okay, and that planet equals to earth. So this is actually available in class area. Okay, when the class is loaded, the static member along with all the bytecodes of the method and the class information will be there. Okay, then for the main method invocation, what happens? For the main method invocation, a main stack is going to get created. A main stack is going to get created, and here in the main stack you have a local variable that is the reference variable, that is p, right? And a new person, whenever new person, what happens? New refers to heap area. So let me go here and let me draw this particular heap area, and this is my heap, and it refers to heap area, and it goes to the available memory actually, and then this person constructor will get executed. So what is the primary responsibility of a constructor? Constructor construct the values of the class, instance values of the class. So now what it will do is it actually construct this object. So let me write this object over here. Let me draw this properly. Yeah, so this object actually, so this object has two values. One is name. So name is initially null, and then age initially 0. So that's how the person constructor will construct. And then when the bytecodes are getting executed for this person, what happens? So local variable n is assigned with the instance variable name, and a assigned with the age. So name actually, what happens? This name actually now initialized to xyz, which is actually a string, and age actually is 30. So this is what actually happens during the constructor bytecodes. Okay, when the constructor is done, of course the stack frame will get created for the constructor, so I am not writing actually here. And when the constructor is done, the constructor, what it will do, it returns the reference back. So are we catching the reference? Yes, we are catching with p actually catching the reference, and through p we can actually go to this particular object, this particular person object, which is having name equal to xyz, age equal to 30. And where is my planet, which is a string and which is static? That's why it is there in the class area, right? Yeah, that's what actually happens. So whenever we say p dot get person, this get person bytecodes will start getting executed, and will be getting executed on p. So through p I can go actually over here and ask to print name is going to get printed, age is going to get printed, and planet actually will get printed from this class area. So that's how it will, that's how it actually happens in the background. Okay, so let me clear all these drawings and let me save this. Yeah, let me show you also by executing this program. Yeah, so let me save this. Then so java c person.java compiled successfully, and then say java person, and then actually you can see the values of xyz and 30, and eth is getting printed. So xyz 30 and eth is getting printed. Okay, so this is about the parameterized constructor. Okay, so now what can actually happen is like method overloading, constructor overloading is also possible. Okay, so now I am writing a constructor, one more constructor, person. Okay, so I am writing actually a person, and this constructor is a default constructor. I am writing nothing actually. Person, no implementation. So what I can actually do is I can create another object, person p1 equals to a new person. Okay, person p1 equal to new person, and I can say p1 dot get person. Okay, so here what I'm doing, I'm having actually a constructor. This is my default constructor. This is my default constructor. I'm just writing the acronyms. A default constructor which has no implementation, and so this is actually leads to constructor overloading. A constructor with no arguments, a constructor with two arguments. So that means same name constructor but different parameters. So this is actually called overloading. So here we are doing with constructors, that's why it is constructor overloading. If you do with methods, then it's called method overloading. So now when person p equal to new person of xyz 30, so this constructor matches with this constructor, and the object will get created. For that, whenever we say person p1 equal to new person, and this constructor actually matches with this constructor, so there is no compile time error, and this works fine. Whenever you say p1 dot get person, what will the output that you get? What will the output that you get? So whenever person p1 equal to new person, what happens in heap? A person object is created, and person constructor construct instance values with their defaults actually, right? So what is the default value of name? Name is string type, so null. And what is the age? Default value is 0. So p1 dot get person will give me null and 0. So if you want, you can actually check this. Okay, so this is an example of a constructor overloading. Yeah, Java C person.java, there are no errors, everything is fine. But when I run Java person, and you will have two outcomes. One is XYZ 30 earth, and the third is null 0, because constructor, default constructor, but it constructs its instance values initially, right, with the default. So name is null, age is 0, and in the display get person method, we are actually asking for the planet, and planet is earth, which is available in the class area, and that is referenced, and this earth is going to get printed. Okay, so this concept actually is constructor overloading, and you can have actually n number of constructors written, n number of constructors written. So if at all you want to write anything over here, so if you want to say system dot out dot println, system dot out dot println, so you can actually say constructor invoked. Okay, you can say cons invoked. So this will get printed as part of that. And if at all you also want to assign some values actually this particular person, so what you can do is you can say name equals to some ABC, and sorry, so name equal to ABC, and then you say age equals to some 25. So this is also possible. So in the default constructor, what you are doing is you are actually assigning some literals. Here string literal you are assigning to string name, and integer literal you are assigning to age actually. So this is also fine. So now what happens in this particular program, whenever you construct, whenever this second person p1 equal to new person is constructed, now these are no longer null and 0, because name was constructed to ABC, age is constructed to 25, and those things actually will get printed. Initially constructed with the default values, later when the bytecodes are getting executed, you find ABC is assigned to name and 25 is assigned to age, right? So those things are going to get printed actually. Okay, along with that, first cons is also invoked, that is also going to get printed. So let me save this, and yeah, so let me compile this java c person.java, compiled successfully, and then say java person. Now see the difference actually, xyz 30th for p, and then cons is invoked. Actually whenever the person default constructor is called, the cons is invoked is getting printed, then p1 dot get person abc 25th. Okay, so this way also you can actually do. Okay, so this actually illustrate what is default constructor, what is parameterized constructor, constructor overloading, what actually happens when the constructor is called. Okay, so all the details actually have been covered. Okay, so to sum up, what is a constructor? A constructor is a special method whose name is same as the class name, and uh, and it is used to construct the values of object, and the values specifically the instance values of the object. So whenever we speak of object, there is no relevance with static members. Okay, so compiler will supply you default constructor if constructor will supply you default constructor if you are not writing any constructor. If you are writing any constructor, then compiler will not supply you a default constructor. And constructor overloading is possible as long as the constructors are changing in their order, type, and number. That means here per person constructor has no arguments, here two arguments. So as long as there is a difference in the arguments, type, and order, so constructor overloading is possible, and you can have n number of constructors, good number of constructors also in a single class. Okay, so that's it. Hope you have understood the constructors in detail with these programs which I explained with sample.java initially, and later with person.java. Okay, so please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for more videos. So thanks for watching. We'll be back with this, then super, then inheritance, polymorphism, etc. And there are n number of videos to follow up, and we will cover as many as videos as possible in the core Java, and we will demystify the entire core Java with programmatic explanations. Thanks for watching.